What's up, everybody? How do you like my shiny, straight hair? I finally straightened it. Well, not with a straightener. I used a blow dryer for once. And it like shortened my hair by 2 inches, but that's all good. So I want to share something because I know you guys know this, but self-worth is kind of my jam, but it's also something that everyone, human, struggles with on some level, right? It's part of the human condition, and I'll tell you why. Hi, Karen. Hi, Vicky. So self-worth is so interesting because it's one of those things. It's a perception shifter. And we, as humans, with our brain is looking for data. Our brain is not meant to make us happy and feel worthy. That's not what our brain is built for. So if you're depending on your brain to just do this, it's not going to happen. Thanks, Vicky. So your brain is going to look for data, and it's going to compare, and it's going to tell you what you need to make comparisons, to make choices, but it's not here to make you feel like you are the most worthy being, right? It's not your brain's job to do that. So we have to be mindful of what's happening with our brain, with our thoughts, where we're looking, where we're focusing, and this is how we reclaim our power and really our queendom or kingdom, if you're a guy, and say, I am worthy. I deserve all of this good stuff. But I want to talk about one way, one surefire way, and you guys can apply this to your life. You can review your life and see, where do you have these stories about people being superior to you, right? So if you're on here still, I see people coming and going. Give me some sort of emoji. You know what face my favorite face is? It's not actually the heart. It's the wow face. It's so cute to me. But that's another, that doesn't really matter here. But I just wanted to share that. I'm always like, I love that. Hey, Rebecca. Hi, Michaela. Hi, Jen. Hey, Marcus. Hey, Sean. So check it. There you go. Someone just did that for me. Thank you. So superiority. I remember in my own life, I would look at these women who are doing what I do differently though, right? They're doing it their way, and then there's my way. But for some reason, I believe that they deserved to make this amount of money from their clients more than I did, right? Like I put them in this place that they were superior to me because there were all kinds of stories why, right? There were all kinds of stories why they were more superior than I was. But you see, I didn't realize that I was thinking that. And then it hit me. Why is it that I've given them the okay? And I see that it's acceptable for these people to make millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. But why do I feel like I'm not worthy of that yet? And it was the story. It was the story of they're better because they are this way, because they have it this way. Their life is better because of this. Like whatever the stories were, we all have them. It took me coming down, and this is the post that I shared earlier with you guys. If you guys saw the photo of me with all the hearts in the background, that was today. And I took that photo just because I was out in a bikini and I just wanted to take the photo. But I thought, what can I attach to this photo? I want to talk about self-love. But when we talk about self-love, we're often putting people on pedestals, and there's nothing wrong with saying this person is magnificent. This person is great at what they do. But you don't want to give someone all of your power and forget that you are divinity yourself and that you have something that's just as special, just as beautiful, but it looks different. It looks different. Hi, Rebecca. Thank you. Roxanne says the story we tell ourselves is so important. So this is the funniest thing, is that we're always telling ourselves no. We're telling ourselves no on so many levels. Like we're telling ourselves no to the kind of love we want to receive. We're telling ourselves no to the kind of income we want to make. We're telling ourselves no with simple lifestyle things because for some reason we've agreed to this isn't for us. Yet we look outside of ourselves and you'll see other people enjoying these things that you think that you want, but you think you can't have. But subconsciously you're telling yourself, not for me, not yet, not mine, right? So what I really want to invite everyone to do while we're on this live stream, and before you go to bed tonight, right? It's like when we go to bed, it's such a beautiful time that we can just clear the day. We can clear the day, we can forgive ourselves, and we really want to find out where we are telling ourselves no, right? We want to find out, where are we telling ourselves no, and why are we making other people more valuable than us, right? Sorry guys, I'm reading this. Roxanne says, yes, girl, so agree. Celisa, hey love, she says, we are one. The divinity she has is my exact divinity. We all are divinity. We all are divinity, but we have unique expressions, right? So it's like, there are other Nicholes that are coaches, right? And they may even be spiritual coaches. They're never going to have the same exact life that I've had. Therefore, their perception is different. The way that they view the world is different. Their gifts are going to be different. You are the same. So what I was saying in that post, and I love this analogy, and I always think of it, and I remind myself of this often, is that if I remember seeing someone's post. It was a woman. She was posting about Louis Vuitton bags. By the way, guys, I just don't understand Louis Vuitton. It looks like everyone has the same bag, but that's just me. But Louis Vuitton has this one purse, and there's only like 6 of them. So because there's only 6 of them, it doesn't matter the way that it looks. People are like, I want that bag because only 6 people in the entire planet have that bag. So we see this bag and they're like, yeah, but do you have this one? No one has this one. There's only 6 of these. But you see, how often do we do that with ourselves? There's only one. There's only one of you. There's never going to be another one. But yet we sit around looking outside of ourselves thinking that everything on the outside is better than us, right? And I'm going to tell you guys a funny story of how I realized I was doing this to myself. And I see you guys with the likes and the loves and the wow face, my favorite, because you're feeling it, right? Because how many times do we do this to ourselves? So I'm going to tell you a story where I recognize this way of thinking in myself at Christmas time. Imagine this. I'm at the Christmas tree lot. It's full. It's a Saturday night. There's a bunch of people at the Christmas tree lot. And I'm looking at everyone else's Christmas tree like, that's a nice Christmas tree, right? I'm looking at the Christmas trees. I'm like, I want that one. That one's perfect. Well, here's where I caught myself, because I could have believed that everyone else's Christmas tree was better than my Christmas tree. But here's what happened. The guy put the tree down. I go pick it up because I could finally have it and call it mine. And I was like, this tree is not even all that. I kept looking at everyone's tree and still finding that their trees were better than mine. And then I laughed at myself. Hi, Amy. I laughed at myself because I was like, Chanel, my daughter, I was like, Chanel, do you see what I'm doing here? I'm looking at everyone else's Christmas tree thinking that theirs is just a little bit more perfect, a little bit taller. Their leaves and branches are a little bit better. And then when it finally becomes mine and I'm actually holding it in my hand, I'm like, meh. It could be better. And this is what we do to ourselves in life, right? We do this in life. I'm a very aware person. I work on self-love, self-worth, digging into my beliefs about what I think I can have, what I think I have access to. And I dig into this stuff, but you still see me at the Christmas tree a lot acting like that, right? Now, how do you act like that, right? And this is what we really want to look at. Here's the other thing that we want to do. When we find out that we've compared ourselves to someone, when we find out that we have made someone else more superior, more worthy of love, of money, of just living a good life, of feeling better, we got to forgive ourselves. Because we don't want to judge ourselves for doing this. Then we only put ourselves deeper in the little hole of self-pity and thinking that we did something wrong, because then we're like, oh my God, well, why did I even treat myself like that? Now something's wrong with me for that. No, we don't want to do that. What we want to do is just, and this is part of the softening, ladies, right? Becoming our soft place, becoming our safe place, knowing that we deserve it, right? So I want you to think of one thing right now in your life that you've been thinking, I'm lacking something here. I don't have it. Wherever you feel like there may be some deficit. And I just want to see if you've looked outside of yourself and you can find one area, one person that you've deemed them as more worthy and deserving of that money, love, success, well-being, health, fitness, whatever, right? And notice where you do it. Just notice. Notice, because this is incredibly important, because right now there are countless numbers of women, especially women, a lot of men too though, that have walked around and thought, not me. not me, not right now. It's not for me. And the funniest thing is, it's almost so funny, but it's also sad, is that it's all here for us. So going back to my regular example, I'll tell you guys, you know, every time I'm about to go raising my prices, I just raised my prices again. And I actually took away time that and effort that I'm putting into this, because I was like, you know what? This transformation, it's and I get to decide that. But I watch, when I go to do it, I watch all the stories that come up. And then I always go back to the story and I tell myself, well, why do I think that this person is worthy of it? Why do I think that that person is worthy of charging $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and then I'm putting myself here, right? And how many of you guys have done that with something? So Lisa says, I've done that with you, thinking you deserved it and I didn't. Wow, well, thank you for telling me that. But you see, I'm here to tell you, that's bullshit, right? You deserve it as much as I do. We all deserve it, because we're all doing different things. But you see, here's who really gets it, the people that ask for it. So as I was saying, you know, when I was looking at these ladies and I was doing this to them, they have no idea. I don't even know some of these people. But I noticed that I was walking around with that. And as soon as I recognized it, I said, no more, no more. So right now, ladies, let's just do this, because this is really what true sisterhood is about. I don't have to know you. I'll tell you a story. One of my friends, we have a group text about an event that we're doing, and there was a group text, and she was saying that someone brought up the way that Oprah looked on the Golden Globes thing. And I said, I was like, if someone ever spoke to me about Oprah, about anything critical, I would shut them down like it was my sister, because hell no, right? But this is like the real sisterhood wounding. And this is where we're digging into it and doing the real healing, because there's all these ways in which we look at other people like they're superior, we're not, right? And then it ends up being projected in gossip, insecurities being projected in all sorts of ways. There's all of this little negativity thing, and a lot of it is stories that we could create in our own mind, right? And we create them in the isolation and the silence of our own mind. But sometimes, like, it's so beautiful that Celisa comes out and shares that, because she was thinking it. She had it, but that's not her, right? And those thoughts that I had are not me, but somewhere along the way, we've been taught that something isn't for us. So then we begin to step back, suppress, and we think, oh, well, then what else isn't for me? If I wasn't allowed to ask for that, if that wasn't something that was for me, if I wasn't worthy of that, and this can happen at a very young age, well then, what else, right? April said how she looked. My God, that was about all the truth in her, or that was all about truth in her words. Yes, it was. It was like a dentist making a dentist kind of joke, but I was just like, no. Don't talk about Queen O in my presence, right? But seriously, guys, but this goes down to the truth of this. And notice where your people, your sisters, anyone, it doesn't have to be your sister. It doesn't have to be your closest friend. But if you hear someone else putting themselves down or not receiving something, say something, right? Say something. Help them, right? That's what we're supposed to do for each other. We're in the process of stepping up and saying, I deserve it. Just like the whole Me Too whole idea, the Me Too, something was bad for me. What about the I deserve it? Me too. Me too. She deserves it. Look what she has. Me too. Right? Like, why not? Hi, Darnell. Hi, Marlo. Julia says, hi, jumping in. Hey, so here's the deal. Just like that, and that's such a good example. What if we carried that, right? It's like the whole Me Too movement. You look around at any woman in your life that is inspiring to you, that you see she has something, and maybe you're like, well, why does she have it and not me? Why can she have that and I can't, right? And there's places where that happens and we immediately shut ourselves down. But I'm going to dare all of you to open yourself back up. Open yourself back up. Have a, as my daughter would say, a come into Jesus talk with yourself. And when you do that, just get really clear. What are these limiting beliefs? Why do you have them? Why are you putting yourself down like that? What would you do if your friend was doing that to herself? I was recently at brunch with a bunch of friends, and I heard the ladies talking to each other in this really beautiful way, like lifting them up. But I know that some of them need to take their own advice, right? And I thought, isn't that how us women are, right? We're so quick to be like, no, to our girlfriends. No, you better not even deal with that. Oh, hell no. I know you better raise your prices. I know you better leave that guy. I know you better check that person for acting that way. But when it comes to us, we tend to close up, right? So this is your invitation. This is your dare to get out there and just say, you know what? I deserve it. I deserve it. No one is more important to me in my life. Even if you're a mother, my daughter knows I got to put me first. If I let her and my niece run around here and do whatever the hell they want and make sure that their happiness comes before mine, do you think we probably won't even live in Marina Del Rey anymore? We'll probably have to go move somewhere else because I would not be able to function. My happiness has to happen for me, right? And it doesn't mean that it's at the expense of everyone else. That's not what I mean, guys. But what I mean is understand you are deserving. Understand everything that you desire is for you, right? Everything changes then. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Eleanor. So, guys, I'm going to go, but real quick before I go, you know, you're going to be seeing this. Yesterday, I just had one lady jump in, actually, Darla from my Permission Granted group. I'm doing something really beautiful for the next 4 months. I'm doing a deep dive private immersion, and it is called Devotion. So it's for women who are like, you know what? I am so sick of my excuses, and I'm not going to come into the space with you and use them because I don't want to be with that. I don't want to be there anymore. Where we're going is into a deep, deep surrender. And in a really deep surrender, we don't talk about the same stuff for 4 months. We do not talk about the same stuff for 4 months. In deep surrender, it's like, wow, this shit hurts, but I'm going to walk through the fire and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do because my potential is that important, right? And that's what I'm calling in, right? So it's like, if you feel like you're a woman that, and yesterday we were talking about the seed, right? You guys, ladies, some of you guys were on here yesterday. We're talking about this seed, the potential. And when you are honoring your potential, you're like, nothing else is more important. Because you know on the other side of that, there's so much magic that could happen. Like everything that you envision for yourself, that you can see, it's here. It's waiting. It's waiting on the other side of you honoring that potential, right? So the devotion program is going to be a deep surrender into honoring that and a really beautiful willingness to do the uncomfortable work. Because here's the thing. If you're doing work, when I talk about spiritual work, like, do you know how many times I break down and have like ugly cries? A lot. Because you know what? I believe something about myself that is not true. And I will make myself cry. I will figure out, what do I believe about myself? What am I telling myself? What am I unwilling to see about myself? What have I lied and believed for the past 25 years of my life now that needs to go for me to move to my next level? That shit will make you cry if you're doing it right. And that's why there's all these funny memes on Instagram about what spiritual work, what people think it looks like. And it's some woman that's like, and then there's like some other chick that looks like she's like losing it. Yeah, it looks like that. Sometimes it looks like that. So I'm not going to scare you, but you see, that's going to actually, if it resonates with you, then you're right for the work. But I'm only bringing in 4 more ladies because it's only 5 and 1 person already came in. So you will see about that. So guys, Jackie, she says you look so radiant. Thank you. You know what? I straightened my hair. That's it. Or I blow dried it. You guys, I don't do my hair. I'm really a low maintenance kind of person. Sometimes I see people that like have a bunch of makeup on and their hair is always done. And I'm like, I wish I could be like that. But then I'm like, it's just not for me. It's just not for me. But a little blow dried, everyone's like, hey guys. Talitha says, amazing. Agree. Do the deep work. I cried a lot when healing. I'm still healing, right? Because here's the thing. I always like to say that life is a never-ending finesse. It's a finesse, right? It's like we think that we're going to get to this place and I'm healed. I'm better. Life is good. And it is, right? In a lot of ways. But the thing is, when you're ready to go to the next level, there's going to be grieving because where you're at now is not going to be the same awareness as wherever you're going, right? So I like laugh. One of my clients who's on this thing right now with us, she was like, she was too happy. She was like, not that she was too happy. She was like, too neutral. That's the word. She was too neutral. There wasn't no like huge highs, huge lows. And I'm like, you're not there yet. And then she was like, really? What do you think? Da, 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 da. And like a couple sessions later, she finally was like, I'm ready to make this big choice. And then we got to the good stuff, because then the shit comes up. And that's where we really want to be, because what happens is we try to stay neutral, and we don't want to upset people. We don't want to like say no. We want to keep everything safe. But guys, you can't keep that life safe while wanting to simultaneously have this new life you're dreaming of, right? If you're living in a $400,000 house and your dream is to have a $3 million home, trust me, you're going to have to stretch and grow, and your life is going to look a lot different. That's including relationships, beliefs, and the way that people see you and the way that you see others. And that is where the grieving and the pain comes in. And it's actually really beautiful when we embrace it, because there's this really beautiful like feminine aspect of it, of just being able to hold the space and be with yourself. But it also is painful, right? Let's see. Hi, Christy. I love you too. Hey, Darnell. Looking good. That's right. Keep it simple. Less is more. Actually, guys, Darnell's in my book. But you won't know who he is, because I changed everybody's names. Becky, how will my experience change if I own that I'm just not willing to do what it takes right now? Actually, there's a book that talks just about that. This was part of the conversation I had with a soul sister tonight. Made me angry at myself, and I need to grieve it. Niceties and pleasantry. I'm over it. Yeah. I think that's really what we have to do. And this is why, even for me, in my space and the women that I'm working with in this new program, I'm looking for women that are like, not bullshitting. Because here's the thing, is we can say what we want. Like Becky says right now, what if I'm just not willing to do what it takes? We all will like, let's agree, right? We would all like to have more freedom, which usually is more money, right? Different kinds of expression, which allow us to have fuller, deeper expressions of intimacy and love with people we care about, abundance in all different ways. But how many people are really willing to do what it takes? And I think that, I'm not even going to say I know that when we get clear, this is what can happen. You either say, I'm not willing to do what it takes, and you sit with that excuse and you sit with what you're doing to yourself, and then you jump and it's like a fire under you, or you're really not willing and you live a mediocre life forever. And when I say mediocre, you know, my teacher says mediocre a lot, and it may sound kind of negative, but I don't mind when he says it, because it's kind of true. Like, it's majority, guys. Do you want to live like majority, or do you want to live like not many people live? And it's not for greed or selfish reasons, but I don't know. I want to help people. I want to do good things. Today I'm walking down the street at McKinney, and this guy, like two guys, were like, hey, do you want to help the Syrian refugees? And I'm like, well, shit, who says no to this? Like, I really don't feel like stopping and talking to you. But I'm also like, feel kind of bad saying, no, I don't want to help these children that are sick and like diarrhea is killing them. In this country, it doesn't kill people, right? We have things for that. And so I stopped and I talked to him, and he was like, you know, like such a small percentage of people stop and talk to us. But we're so caught up in our own stuff. And the truth is that, like, if we would really just open up and know that, like, we have stories that will help people, we have ways of supporting that will help people, we have gifts that will help people, and not only will they help other people, we'll live a fabulous life because of it. Like, I'm going to make $1 million from just being myself. How amazing is that, right? And that's so funny, because when I was in corporate America and working in life insurance and working in finance, I had to be Nichole that had no criminal background. I had to be Nichole that always had perfect credit. I had to be Nichole that never said curse words or talked about money or politics or religion, because they were no-nos. Now I get to do whatever the fuck I want, and I get to admit all of my shit in a book, and people still love me, and I still get lots of money. Here's the truth, though, because none of that takes away from who I am. And the value that I have as a human, the value of my gifts, right? And that's the same for you guys. And this is why I'm so adamant about people who sit around on the sidelines and say, I don't know if I'm going to do it. I don't know if I want to do it. I don't know if, like, I'm good enough. That's the kind of stuff I want to, like, reach through the computer and, like, shake people when they do that, right? So Rebecca, so what do you say? Like, are you Are you keeping that story? And how does that really make you feel, you know? And that's for anybody. So I think it's really beautiful. You know, there was something that happened to me in December, and I was like in this pressure of I wanted to grow my business. Actually, this was in November. And I signed up to work with this mentor, and it was like pretty decent investment. And I wanted to automate my business, and I wanted to make $1 million in my business. That was my goal, right? But the way that I was doing it and the way that it was set up, it just felt like this was no longer about me. Like, it wasn't about me. This was about the competition. This was about me trying to get faster, bigger, better, sooner, right? And it just didn't feel good. It didn't feel good, and I realized everybody's path is different. I don't need to do it this way. Just because some people do it this way and it works this way, I can like pull myself out for a little bit. So I pulled myself out of the whole like hustle grind and trying to be bigger, better, faster, sooner. And when I did, what I got to see was like, A, my gifts aren't going anywhere. B, my riches, my abundance, my exchanges are not going anywhere. All that's still happening. But we get to do it at our own pace. And I think that we just have to decide what feels good for us and really be honest. So now that time has passed, and now I am in January, and now my book is done. Now I'm ready to make those investments, right? Because now it feels different. Something feels different. So I love that Rebecca just said, so if you guys missed it, Rebecca was saying that she just was like, well, what if I just admit I'm not willing to do it right now? Which is such a beautiful cop-out that we can always do whenever we want. But all my friends know you don't do that with me because we don't play that, right? Rebecca says, I need to stop, purge, grieve, change is coming. Yes, I know change is coming for you anyway, because the truth is, like, you're just getting, you're purging all of your stories, right? So it's like you go through one story of, I don't even think I want to do this. Then you're like, well, maybe I'm not willing to do what it takes. But we have to know that there's going to be this discomfort when we're stepping up to do something, right? It's like, I can't tell you how many times when I was writing this book and editing it that I wanted to just like close it and say, somebody else fucking do this for me. It's too hard. It's too tedious. It's too traumatizing. I don't want to write about this. But then there's something in me that was like not going for that. Like, it wasn't going for it. It wouldn't be as like beautiful of a victory if I had someone else write it for me, right? And it's the same thing as if, like, while I would love to win the lottery, like, it's also, that kind of takes out the fun of it, right? Like, I love to be able to say, guess what? I went from making $12,000 to $200,000 in 1 year. Actually, you know, like, I hit my first $100,000 in 6 months. And it was like, I love that story. It's fun, right? And I can inspire other people to pick up the pieces wherever they are and decide, I'm going for it, right? And think about any story that's ever inspired you in your life, right? That's why we share what we do, guys. Daniela, hey, she says, discomfort is necessary for your growth. Yes. And that's why I also say this. As we're approaching things that we're about to do, like, some people are like, well, this is really uncomfortable for me. I don't know if I should do this. I'm like, good. That's where you're supposed to be. This is where we stretch. If it feels comfortable, that means you're too much in your paradigm and you're not getting stretched enough. So being intimidated, being uncomfortable, these are actually really great signs that you're on the right path to do something big. So just before we go, I just want to just point out these two things. Like, if one thing, tonight before you guys go to bed, gift yourself this. Look around at one person that has something that you've desired for a while and that you've watched them have it and you haven't allowed yourself to have it. Now, this isn't about them. They're just a mirror for you. And life gives us these really beautiful mirrors that we get to see, like, wow, this is reflecting to me that there's something that I could have. There's something that I could say yes to. I'm not saying yes for some reason, right? Now, look at that and just have that conversation with yourself. Why have I made that person more superior than me? Why do I think that they're more deserving than me? And after you do that, write yourself a love letter, right? Like, get down with yourself and really get to the truth that there's no one else like you. Just like we talked about that Louis Vuitton bag, as ugly as I may think that they are, that if they only put out 5 bags, people are buying them. They don't care that they're like 4 different colors and they have that print on them. People are buying them because, guys, there's only 5 of them. So own yourself that way. And when you own yourself like that, it doesn't matter where you go. I've been to rooms of people. I've been in situations on retreats with people where I'm like, am I going to feel intimidated here? Like, these people make way more money than me. These people are way older than me. They have way more experience than me. I hear these stories and I'm like, but there's only one of me. So why would I ever feel like that? Right? It's like, I have to have those conversations with myself, but I'm sharing. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Rose. I'm sharing because I want you guys to have this conversation with yourself. And when you have this conversation with yourself, the game changes, right? And it's the same thing when you're dating. It's the same thing to like the way you treat your body. The way we treat our bodies, the way we treat our potential, all these things are just reflections of, do you recognize that there's only one of you? That you're not just somebody to be pushed to the side, another one of 5 billion? No, you're one of one, right? So anyway, guys, have a beautiful night. And if you are someone that is like, you know what? I want to spend 4 months with Nichole because I know she's going to kick my ass in the most beautiful way. It will be the most loving way, I promise. But it's just, I don't know what it is about worthiness, but there's places within us about worthiness, right? That will bring you to your knees, sobbing, crying. What is it, right? It's like there's something in us that just will not let, and I say us, I'm saying this collectively because, you know, everyone has their own experience. So I'm not going to project something on you. This is always collective. But there's something about us, and I can say it just from talking to my friends, client situations, and myself, right? And there's something in us that just like, it feels like the things that we want the most, we just can't have them, right? It's like it's so close, but there's something in you that just says, no, not for you. What is that? What is that, right? And that's the worthiness. So it's digging in, it's unraveling, it's forgiving. And I literally have like chills in my right leg while I'm talking about this because I remember the moments where my perception was like literally wiped clean so that I saw my worth and my value. It doesn't mean that I don't doubt it and I don't have moments of like having a human experience because we are human, right? We have our own shit. But once you see it, you never see yourself the same again. You can go back. But in those times where you're trying to get there and you haven't quite seen your divinity yet, and you're looking outwards and everyone else seems to have it, or there's people that seem to have it, but you don't, it's just, you got to keep digging. And there's something, you will cry. If you don't cry when it happens, let me know. Because I talk about this actually in my book, but when I had my moment when I saw my value and my divinity, I was at Agape at my spiritual center and I saw it and it was like, my worth has nothing to do with my net worth. And I started crying, but then at first I was like trying to keep it low key. So I was like, and then all of a sudden it was like, and then I had to get up and leave the service because it was just like too intense and I knew I had to like get it out. But I wasn't in denial. Like for me, I was like, the way that I'm living, unacceptable. I know, like I had visions. I know that I was supposed to have a different life, but I know that on some level, I also wasn't allowing myself to have it. And when I see women, they do the same thing, right? And it's men too. Trust me, it's men too, because I have male friends that do the same thing. But there's something in us, and it's subconscious, guys, and it's habitual. So we don't even know that we're saying no. We've already deemed it as not ours. But I want you to know, anything that you want right now, it's already here. It's already here. So you can start doing the work, get over the BS, make yourself cry, get a mentor, have someone be your mirror, have someone keep you accountable to the work, even when it gets uncomfortable. You know, I've had clients that when it gets really uncomfortable, all of a sudden, they're always sick, right? All of a sudden, they've been like 3 different colds. They have all this stuff happening. And the first time or second time, I'm like, okay, so you're sick. The third time, I'm like, let's talk about what's really going on here. Let's talk about what's really going on here. And you're at a turning point in your life. You either let self-sabotage win, you let the stories win, or you step up and you break down a bit. because sometimes we have to allow ourselves to break down so that something new can be revealed. Guys, when I have a breakdown, I'm like, good, something great is about to happen, because what I've learned is every time I'm having a breakdown, where I used to call my friends and be like, I don't know, something's wrong with me, something's happening, it's bad. Now I'm like, all right, I just gotta like weather this storm. What's being revealed? What am I being asked to do? What's going to change? And then sure enough, something like an insight comes. You realize a relationship has to end. You realize like you got to create new programs in your business. Something happens, right? So Rebecca says, I'm in breakdown mode right now. So a beautiful way for us to really get clear on the breakdown and like really dig into it when it comes to worthiness is just play with it and just write down something that you really want, something that you really desire, I should say, right? Oh yeah, and sugar detox too. But see, when we're called to do a detox, guys, notice when your body, I just got really hyped, but notice when your body says it's time for detox. Because when it's time for a detox and your body is like, you feel that like, I should go on a diet, or I should stop eating sugar, I should stop eating gluten, I should buy a personal trainer. Honor that nudge, because that inner nudge will guide you to right where you need to be. It's asking you to make space. So Becky, I'm not surprised by this. This is actually really beautiful. So going back to this whole idea of the breakdown, right? If you sit down and notice this, you'll want to deny and like move around this. You'll know that you should be sitting down and journaling about this for like 4 days, and you may not sit down, right? You'll be like, I've been meaning to get to that. Sit down and write down exactly why you feel like you're not worthy. Write down exactly why you feel like you're not worthy. You want to talk about crying? Talk about why you are the only reason why you don't have what you desire. Talk about you are the only reason why you're missing out on beautiful experiences, right? Like, we think about money as, like, when I say we, people think about money as a bad thing, right? And there's this icky thing. I remember there's a woman that posted this thing, and she's like, which one do you worship, money or trees? And I'm like, I like both of them. I see them both as, you know, it's whatever. I love our mother, earth, whatever. But I'm not going to abuse plants, and I'm not going to say that money is bad, right? Like, I love money because it allows me to do things that I enjoy. And that's why I want to have more of it. So you have to notice the places where you're still feeling like money's bad. And then you have to ask, why are you keeping these beautiful experiences from yourself? So think about the things that you would buy if you started making 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever it is for you. Get clear on what that would look like, and then just get really honest that you're the only reason that you don't have it. And that should probably feel like a energetic smack in the face. And then you may be ready to get to work. But again, worthiness, self-sabotage, deeply rooted beliefs about it's not for you, they require healing. So, guys, I'm going to go because this has been a really long session. But hey, you know what? I hope it's helped. And I know that there's some really good tips in here, because these are some of the things. Guys, I didn't have someone teach me this stuff. This is stuff that I learned while I was crying right out on the bench, right where I live. I used to always come here. And I would always come here because I wanted to live here. And I couldn't afford to live here. And I really didn't know how I would afford to live here. Because I always had a story about single moms having to pay for everything for 2 people, blah, 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 blah. And now it's funny because now I have 3 people. But I had that story, and it kept me small, but I was not giving up on what I wanted. And I would come over here and I would meditate, and I made myself cry. I made myself cry, and I just got really honest that it's all me. It's me that's saying no. And what do I need to see for me to say yes? What do I need to see to believe in myself, right? And I had all these conversations. So have the tough conversations with yourself, guys. Talk to yourself. Don't be embarrassed. I talk to myself all the time. So you're welcome, Amanda. You're welcome, Rebecca. Glad to hear that you're purging and getting rid of stuff. And for any of you ladies that are really ready to do the work, let me know. I think our application should be ready tomorrow. It's a really special program, but I'm looking for women it's really for a specific woman, because I can almost feel like I'm borderline harassing women if they're not ready for the work, because I'm like, but you said you wanted this. So we're going to do it, or otherwise I feel like I'm dragging, and I cannot drag. I'm not in the stage of dragging in my business, right? But I am in the stage of being a really bold mirror. Natalie, you're still on here? What's up? I'm glad you loved it. Love you, Anita. By the way, guys, so guess what? I'll share this little secret with you guys since you're here. I feel like we're like all in this little women's circle here together. I'm planning a retreat. And I was going to plan the retreat to Lake Arrowhead, but something really funny happened. When I got done my book, I had all this creative energy, and it just like freed me up. So then I decided I really want to go to Bali. I don't want to go to Lake Arrowhead. I do want to go to Lake Arrowhead, and I'll go by myself and do whatever I do there. But I thought, I bet a bunch of women will want to go to Bali with me and spend 7 days with me there doing temples and doing some work around sisterhood and really what it means to be with yourself and with other women in the most powerful, profound way, and also just open up to next level vision, right? So I'm just really excited about that. So stay tuned, because it's really funny how that's coming together, and I just opened up for it. And so we went to Peru, and that was in July, and it was a really beautiful time, and I loved it. But no, Costa Rica. So Costa Rica is for ayahuasca, and I was thinking about doing that there, and they told me that I could have a workshop there, but I want to do something that's all mine, and because I wanted to be able to do it the way I want. And also, my friends just went to Bali. It was a couple, and they were just like, it's like you have to go and do this and that. And I was watching their experience, and I thought, and I found a really beautiful home, like a really big, beautiful home, and I could just imagine all of us like super cozy and just like holding hands and praying and loving on each other, but also getting really uncomfortable and being honest. Like, we're having these conversations on Facebook Live, it's one way. Imagine if we were in real life, but in Bali, right? That would be really powerful. And that's what I really want to do. When I ask myself, what does my next stage of business look like? It's not a lot of groups. It's not a lot of group stuff. It's more live events, experiences. It's talks, because I'm also going to write another book. I'm going to write something. I'm thinking about creating Wake Up Your Wealth Consciousness into some sort of book. I'm just sharing all my little secrets with you guys. But I'm really excited about all of them. Don't hold me to all of them. I give myself full permission to change my mind on any of them. But I think about what do people really need and what has been really popular and necessary. And just like everyone's here, and you guys know Wake Up Your Wealth Consciousness is all about worthiness. It's not really about wealth. It's about whatever you want it to be, because wealth is a lot of things, right? Anita says, you're glowing. Thanks. Well, I'm also like a little shiny because I'm here. But I'm going to receive that, boo. I'm going to receive it. Hi, Calvin. Hi, Crystal. You're welcome. She said your passion for life is contagious. Well, you guys, when you read my book and see what my life used to be like, you'll understand why I'm so passionate about this, because my life sucked. It sucked really bad, and I didn't know anything but that kind of life. And there's a lot of people that are born into a lifestyle that they've accepted as just, this is my life. I'm always going to be around people that abuse me. I'm always going to be around people that talk to me this way. And in fact, I've developed the habit of talking to myself this way, right? And then you end up living in this cycle and this pattern, and you just think, well, this is how my whole family has been. This is how I am. I guess I just like lost at the birth lottery, right? I got the shitty ticket when it comes to the birth lottery, and that's not true. So it's not true. And why I am so passionate is because when I see people complaining about what they have or talking about their excuses, I say nonsense, because I know what I've done. I know anyone can do it. And actually, a lot of people are starting off at a way better place than I started, right? So, but you know what's funny is sometimes having the stuff that's bad happen to you makes you hungry. And you know what? You can't teach hunger, as people say that, right? And it's so true, because there's people that I love and I see what they're doing and I know that they have these really great ideas, but they're not hungry. And I can't make anyone hungry. No one can make anyone hungry. But the thing is, I think for me is that things were so painful, I had no choice. And I just was like, I want to get out of this. And when I was trying to get out, I realized, oh, I hit this like really sweet spot. And like now we get to create life in a whole new way. So anyway, guys, Jackie, I can't wait to share it with you guys. I'm going to know more very soon. I'm actually looking for one more person. And guys, this is only for people that are closer to me. So if you're a client or a friend that has my phone number and can text me, I'm looking for one more person to proofread my book when I get the manuscript. It's going to be in the month of March. I'm going to get my book back on February 28th from my editor, and I need one more person. I already have one person, but I didn't ask all my friends, like, hey, will you do this? Because I want it to be someone that is, like, really, like, has the time for it, because I don't have the time to read people's books, like, right now. So I'm not going to pressure anyone with it, but I know a lot of people ask me. So one more person to proofread it. So what that means is if you just notice anything funky, you just highlight it and let me know. But you also get to read the book before everyone else. And the other thing is, no judgment zone, guys, because you're going to read all of my stuff, all of my crazy secrets, all in one book. And it's going to be really fun. It's also going to be really interesting when it happens for me. So anyway, guys, I love you a lot. If you're feeling called to devotion, message me. I'll let you know when I have the application ready. If you're a client that's already worked with me, then that's different. And otherwise, I will see you guys. If you know someone that will benefit from this video, share it with them. Tag them in it. I love it when people share this stuff because it gets the message out there, connects me with new people. So anyway, guys, have a beautiful, beautiful night. Bye. Oh, Chris, okay, if you want to, it's just looking through and just looking for any sort of errors, right? So not story-wise, but errors. So yeah, let me know. If you want to do it, you can do it. All right, guys, bye. Roga, yoga. Okay, I'm looking for someone that I know personally for this because it's something that's really just like really close. But I would love to have you read the book after. Bye, guys.